Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulina al-Kareem wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Allahumma inna nastahdika li awshari amrina wa zidna ilman yanfa'una. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Hamdan yuafi ni'mahu yukaf mazira. Ya Rabbana laka alhamdu kama yanbaghi jali wajhika wa 'azimi sultanik. Subhanaka la nuhsi sa'an 'alayka anta kama athnayta 'ala nafsik. ولك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في كل وقت وحين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد حتى حتى ترث الأرض من عليها وأنت خير الوارثين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نويت التعلم والتعليم والتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والرفادة والاستفادة والحث على التمسك في كتاب الله وسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم والدعاء إلى الهدى والدلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله مرضاته وقربه ثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. Alhamdulillah, we begin our our Sunday afternoon dars, our class, our tadarus, our meeting, with of course praising Allah. Particularly today, we want to give thanks for Islam and really make the intent that we want to give thanks for Islam. When we look in the world today, when we see the turmoil, as we mentioned previously in previous classes, that when we look into the world and we see turmoil, we should know that this turmoil, it is underpinned, it is preceded by a deeper, more inner turmoil. Right? So this is important for the believer to see past the shadow. That when we see turmoil and upheaval in the world, it's because of there are inner things that are going on. We believe in Islam, that is to say that the outward follows the inward. The outward follows the inward, follows the heart. We have the hadith, of course. In the body, there's a morsel of flesh. If this morsel of flesh is sound, then the rest of the body will be sound. But if this morsel of flesh, it is somehow corrupt, or there's something wrong with it, then every rest of the body will also be corrupt. The Prophet then says, "Ala wa hiya al-qalb," that attracting our attention to the situation that this is the heart. So if the heart is sound, all the other body parts will be sound. But if the heart is not sound, if the internal state of the human being is not sound, then you'll see corruption in the earth. Then you see a man killing another man on national television, or it's all over YouTube. You'll see these killings. You'll see racial violence, violence against black people in this country. We should know that for what it is, that this is a sign of an inner turmoil within the human soul. This is what it is, right? And there's a turmoil within the American soul right now, and it's really gasping for air. That's what we're seeing today. That the American soul actually has life. There's some life there. And that America is grappling with certain things because there's a life that we want to live as American citizens. And that this American soul, it wants to be purified of the wretchedness of racism. This is effectively what's going on, right? So when we see the protests, these are things that we admire. That people want social justice, we admire these things, right? And we recognize that's a sign of a healthy nation. That some people within that nation stand up for justice and say, no, this is wrong, right? And it's not simply just blacks standing up for the justice, but it's also people of other colors coming out and saying, this is wrong. It's whites coming out and saying, this is wrong. Hispanics, people, South Asian ancestry, coming out and saying it's wrong. Other colors, Asian, whatever, so on and so forth, coming out and saying it's wrong. It's a sign of health. It's a sign of sickness, but it's also a sign that the healthy members in the society want to get rid of that sickness, right? So something that's beautiful. In the context of all of this, we give thanks for Islam, and also we give thanks for the Prophet who was sent as a Nabi for Akhir al-Zaman. He's the Prophet sent to the affairs to deal with the end of the time scenarios, right? So we wanted to take some time to really zoom in on this aspect to the Prophet. The Prophet is, of course, he's profound, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet is profound, right? But we're going to focus in on a one aspect of his prophecy right now, that is him and his role as being the prophet for the end of times, right? And these are things that are miraculous. These are things that, for example, what the Prophet speaks about in his, we're going to read his farewell sermon, just an excerpt from it, and we're going to see how this prophet, he is truly and really the prophet of the end of times, that he's a prophet for our times, that he's speaking to us in the farewell sermon. Are we getting that? He's speaking to us in the farewell sermon, subhanAllah, his last sermon. And let's look at some of the topics that he talks about therein. All right, let's see what he talks about, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we read just a little bit from it. Just trying to find the a good version here, excuse me. Okay. Towards the last part of the sermon, treat women well, for they are like your domestic partners, that and you, they're in your care. So that women, they are like your domestic partners, and that God has placed them in your care. So Allah's Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's doing what we say here, yani istawsana bin nisa'i khayra, that he commanded us to be gentle towards women, to be good to our women folk. Now, if you look in modern days, right, we live in an age, mass misogyny. And in response to this mass misogyny and hatred of women, we have feminist movements, right? Are we getting the point? The Prophet is speaking to this day and age. He's speaking to our times, that watch out for these issues. These are hot button issues towards the day of judgment. That these issues, right, issue concerning women and the treatment of women and the just treatment of women, these are hot button issues. Pay attention to it. Take care here. Pay attention, take care. Be what we say, have muraqabah. Muraqabah is to be vigilant. It's to pay attention. It's to watch a situation, that before a situation goes, let's say before riots start to happen, before there's social upheaval, pay attention. That the internal situation of the human being shouldn't have to get to the point where there are riots, looting, where people are burning things down for there to be justice. This is the Prophet saying here. He says concerning women first, that look after your women folk. That Allah has created the woman to basically be a partner for the man, to be the counterpart of the man. And that he's placed women in the care of men, that we should look out for them. And I'm speaking to myself, this is advice for me me first and foremost here. That Allah has placed them in our care, and that we should care for them, look after them, and not be people who are oppressive towards women. Very, very clear message here. The Prophet continues, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you have taken them only as a trust from God, and you have made God has given them to you, that you can have mutual enjoyment amongst yourselves, and He's made this lawful for you. So understand and listen to my words, O people. I have conveyed the message, and I have left you with something which, if you hold fast to it, you will never go astray. That is the book of God and the sunnah of his prophet. Listen to my words, O people, for I have conveyed the message and understand it. Know for certain that every Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. We'll repeat that part. Know for certain that every Muslim is a brother of another Muslim. and that all Muslims are brethren, they're brothers, they're equal in the sight of God, i.e., in other words, it is not lawful for a person to take from his brother that which he has given him willingly, so do not wrong yourselves. The Prophet then says, have I conveyed the message? So this is one narration of the prophetic sermon. There's another narration which I also wanted to read here, where the Prophet, he says, and this is the more famous narration, where he says that no white person amongst you has any favor over a black person, and no black person amongst you has favor over a white person. That the affair, as it concerns status in Islam, it's by way of what? Taqwa, faith, virtue, understanding, how much you act upon your faith. What we'd call today in modern day terms, content of character. Right? So these things were always important throughout human history, but the Prophet is telling us that towards the end of judgment, towards the day of judgment, these things will be